it's Liz Yuille from Old Stables Crafts. Thank you very much for joining me again today. First things first, I apologise for the lighting. I am filming at about 6:30 in the evening and the sun is coming from that side, which means it's casting brilliant bright light across my desk, so I'm having to use my voile curtain to try and kill some of it. It's got quite a way to go before it goes down, so I'm not complaining because I like the sunshine. I'm very pleased we had rain last night, which will be some days ago from when you see this, but hey. Today's project is this one. It is a storage solution. It is for our new ink pads, and they fit very nicely in the carousel, which was in the last the last annual catalogue. I say nicely, they do fit nicely, but they don't lock in, which does mean that they have a habit of, if you're travelling with them, sliding about, where these, if you're in a little box like this, you can take your colours in your colour family and just keep them nice and square. Now obviously on a normal, when you store them, normally you would have them so that they are the right way up, but for travelling they work very well like that, and you can just pop them in a bag and they're going to be safe. So I've done one per colour family. I've still got the neutrals to do, and what I've done is I've covered with designer series paper, and it's all designer series paper that is in the current offer, the buy 3 get your 4th free. So it's all paper that is in that offer, and I've just selected one that has the right colours for the family that I'm doing. So this is soft sea foam, which, because it's in the neutrals, is perfect. I've got the Garden Impressions designer series paper for the brights, because that's Melon Mambo, and the Tranquil Textures in Shaded Spruce for the Regals, and this is also Tranquil Textures. So I'll just pop this back on my shelf and we will start, and I'll show you how to make one of these boxes. Now I'm using one of the pieces of card that comes with the designer series paper. This was Petal Promenade. The first thing you need to do is, from any side, and it doesn't matter which, cut 1/4 of an inch off, and the 1/4 of an inch is just this first mark to the right of your cutting channel. So just cut that off, and that's all you need to cut off. Then you need to get rid of your cutting blade. And if I bring this down a wee bit, yep. Right, so what we need to do is with the, actually I'm going to use my scoring tool for this, because then I will not cut it, and I've cut it in the past. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to score with the printing on the upper side, because that way the best way to fold paper is towards the mountain that you've created with the scoring tool. And if I have the printing on the outside, I'll cover it up with my designer series paper, because the paper doesn't go all the way in, it just covers and then wraps round. You will see as we go. So with the 11 3/4 at the top, I want to score at 4 inches. Now this paper is slightly, it's sort of like satin, so do be careful when you score it. And then again at 7 3/4, so score at 4 and 7 3/4 with the 11 3/4 side at the top. Then turn it by 90 degrees and score at 3 1/4 and 8 3/4. And that's all the scoring we have to do on that. So let's pop my scoring tool down, and then as ever we need to fold and burnish. Now we were told when the new stamp pads came out that there would be a storage solution coming. I have no idea when, but maybe in time for Christmas, you never know. That's a guess, by the way. Right, so when you've done your scoring, you've got these big corners, or panels, and these two small ones. The small ones you want to keep whole, and you want to cut up. You're going to keep these whole as well, but it's the small panels that you want to work from. And when I say you're going to keep these whole, you're not. These are the ones you're going to cut into. You're going to keep everything else whole, and these ones you're going to wedge. So you need to cut to the right of the score line here, and then just wedge in. These are not my favourite scissors, but they are the only ones I've got that are the right size for this particular project. I'm hoping one day we might get big scissors back, and then I can get some nice big Stampin' Up scissors. So then just wedge again. So you're basically just cutting either side of the score line. So with the score line to the inside, and then you're going to cut out a wedge which will include that score line. So if you were doing dressmaking, which is where what my background is, I went to fashion school. If you're doing dressmaking, it's like making a dart. And that's just so that it folds nice and square, or sticks together nice and square. Now, I'm not going to stick all of this together because it takes a while, but I'll do one end and then the rest will be obvious. So we're going to stick there, but we're going to use our flat surface as a way to make sure we get this square, because these, if you notice, are not long enough for the whole back. It was a decision I had to come to, that I was going to just accept that I was not going to have a full panel, and it works, it's fine. So I'm putting glue on that bit, so I know that I've got this edge covered, and then, as in covered with adhesive, and then I'm going to put glue here, but I'm not going to come all the way across because we are going to have not a complete overlap. But then I'm going to glue there, and whoops, and then pop again here. I'm going to come about 1/2 or 3/4 of an inch down and just put a strip of glue there so that I know that my edges are have got adhesive on, and then fold that up and hold it in place for a while, but just make sure that you're square here at the bottom, so you're holding this square. And then you're going to do effectively the same again over here. So let's see, we'll cover this bit with glue. Oop, come on. And that bit with glue, and then again come up most of the way, and then, ooh, don't want to go all the way over there. Again, avoid about 1/2, 3/4 of an inch. So we're going to come inside this piece here and cover this with adhesive. Now you could use tear and tape, but for something that I want to be absolutely solid for certainly some months until we have a storage solution, the liquid adhesive is the better option. You get a much better seal if you use liquid adhesive. So then just get my bone folder and give that a good press down. Now you do exactly the same with this end, but Blue Peter, here's one I prepared earlier. So I have chosen, and I've already saved some time by doing some scoring, I have chosen the animal outings for the outside of my box. I need a piece that is 5.5 by 6 inches, and another piece that is 6 by 5 3/4. So the 6 by 5.5 with the 6 inch at the top. So this is the 6 inches. You just score at each end at 1 inch, because those are going to go on the ends here, or the sides I should say. And then for the top and the bottom, you again score at 1 inch all the way round, and this is the 6 by 5.5. So this is where I get confused about putting it together. So I need a pair of snips, would be a good idea. So let's get this right. I am going to snip in here. So I've already done the scoring and burnishing, and I'm going to snip in there. And then I'm going to snip in here. So this is where the score lines are. So I've got the 5 3/4 towards me, and this is going to be the front. The back, we're going to do the other way. So we're going to, that is right, yes, we're going to wedge there and there. So we're literally doing the other way. Oh, I can hear someone singing happy birthday. I have no idea whose birthday it is, but apparently one of my neighbours. So if I do it on the top, that will be easier for you to see, wouldn't it? So it's going to go there and there and there and there and there and there. So the first thing we want to do is attach the whole thing to the top. So I'm going to apply adhesive to my top. And just make sure, actually what I will then do is come onto my piece of paper and come along, you were running just now. There we go. Just run that right round the inside of those score lines so that I know I've got that on the edges. And then with the single flap towards me, I'm going to pop this on top of my piece of paper, and it also means I've got a bit of wiggle room to get it exactly where I want it. So if I fold that in for the moment and push against that, that will get it just where I need it. And then it's simply a question of adding adhesive to the bits that are sticking out. There is an order that you want to do it, which is pretty much, well, I'll come on to that. I'm going to start at the front purely because I can. So that's going to go in, and you want to really get that glue moving to the edges. This is, you know, one time when you want to be reasonably generous with your glue. Before you put your sides in, basically you want to do your two ends, so your back and your front. Oops. Because the sides cover the seams, and we're going to be spending a bit of time doing seam covering. So that goes there, and again just get that nicely stuck down, and then where are we time wise? 12-13 minutes. Okay, I may just do a side and a top if we're running too long. I'll see how we go. Oh, except I can't. I've got to do both ends at least. Okay, it's fine. You can see why I did the, here's one I prepared earlier on the basic construction, because otherwise we'd have been even longer. Right, so that's one end, and then we do exactly the same with the other end. She says, making sure she's got the right pieces of paper. Yes. So that's going to go that way. Yep. Right. So I'm going to call, that is right, isn't it? Yes. So I'm going to call this a front. So I'm going to wedge out there and there. And then here I'm going to create another flap at the back by wedging there. And then adhesive on here. And then round my score lines, just so that I know I've got those edges nicely done. And then with my, oops, the other way up would be good, with my flap at the front, I can just add that on and wiggle it into place, fold the flap in and push against it, give it a good burnish, and then I can start applying more adhesive. I'm really not sure how much of this you can see. Enough, I think. It's not something that I can really do in the air, that's the problem. So in, burnish, so front, back, just get those around the sides, and then make sure everything's nicely stuck down as you go. If you spend a bit of time, the time I don't really have, but if you spend a bit of time just making sure everything is well stuck down, it will serve you well later, because the more time you spend getting it right now, the longer it'll survive. Right, okay. So then all we've got to do is add the sides. Now the sides actually are fairly straightforward because they just, whoops, go around the sides. So all we do is pop those on and add them on. So I am just going to wedge all the corners off so that it's a better fit. You don't want to take a huge amount off, just a little bit. So that's the sort of size, whoops. That's the sort of size we're looking at, little babies, and then add, and I'll just scribble that about a bit. Now this will probably end up a bit lumpy, but where that's a problem on a card, I don't think it's a problem on this. And you can move it about a bit by just scribbling backwards and forwards on those lumps, and then again just make sure you've got adhesive on that really top and really bottom edge. Add your piece of card, fold in the front piece, push against it, and then you can just smooth everything out. And then, where are we on time? 18 minutes. Okay, it's going to be long, but it's going to be fine. So whilst I'm finishing this off, as I say, this is Designer Series paper promotion time, so it's a perfect time to use lots of Designer Series paper, because in the selected range, which is basically any of the £10.25s other than the colour packs, so the ones that are the families, so it's any of the £10.25 packs. Buy 3, get your 4th free. So you can either buy 4 the same, or you can mix and match. Personally, I would go for the mix and match option, because then you've got lots to choose from. So it's almost like doing your own paper share, because you're saving money by getting more. And now that I am doing my sunflower rewards for my customers, for every £30 you spend on my online store and use the hostess code, if you don't use the hostess code, it's not a valid online sale for the rewards. So if you use the hostess code, you get to share in the host rewards for the month, but also you earn sunflower rewards. And when you have, so it's for every £30 you spend in any one order. So if you spend, sorry, I'm just thinking, oh, I didn't wedge, did I? Just got to wedge. So if you spend £15 on 2 separate orders, you will not qualify for a for a sunflower reward. if you do one order for £30, you will. If you, right, just get the right bit of gluey side. If you spend £45 in one order, you do only get the one reward. So it's for every £30 you spend in any one order. You cannot combine orders. But once you have, I think I said 10 rewards. Sorry, that's not square. Once you have 10 rewards, you get to spend £30 on free product, which you just tell me that you want to spend your £30 and I get it ordered and out to you. So, and you get 2 years to save your rewards up. And yeah, I just thought it would be a fun way of, particularly for those of you that spend smaller amounts, it just means that you get to benefit from extra goodies. But as I say, you've got to use the hostess reward, the hostess code, which is always in my videos and it's always on my blog. And then you get to earn rewards. And I will send you an email every quarter telling you how many rewards you've got, so that you can keep track of them. Right, there we go. And by the way, if you use the Designer Series paper offer, that will get you a reward for each 4 packs you order, because it's £10.25 per pack. So that will get you £30.75 for 4 packs, so you're already on your way. Right, so there we are. That's our neutrals box. So if I bring in the bright, there we are. I haven't done all of the labels on my neutrals yet, but that's the brights, which you haven't seen yet. So that's the Melon Mambo. So I'm going to have 4 of these, well 5 lined up. I haven't decided whether I'm going to split the in colours or whether I'm going to keep them in one box. But there you go. I hope you found that interesting and I hope you'll give it a go. As I say, you're using scrap cardboard anyway, because this is the packet, the packing. You could use a piece of cardstock, 12 by 12 cardstock, but why waste a piece of 12 by 12 cardstock when you've got this packing? And this packing is actually quite a nice stiff card, so it's quite a good one to go for. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed that, and I would look forward to hearing. I'll put my brain in, shall I? I hope you enjoyed that. If you did, give it a thumbs up. If you would like to take advantage of the Designer Series paper sale and you live in the UK, please hop over to my online store. And as I say, you will get some stamping, some sunflower rewards from me. And I will then be able to send you a thank you card, a thank you gift, and the host reward for the month. Thank you very much indeed for joining me, and I'll see you again very soon, hopefully with a brain in my head.